Hey everyone, I'm here to talk a little bit more in depth about hammerstones than I did in the Hammerstone Basics video. I'm saddened really to see so many people on YouTube relying on granite as a hammerstone, and I think I understand why. I'll talk about that. But I see lots of people using granite hammerstones. They have them in their toolkit. I see people teaching with granite hammerstones, or when I say granite, I mean hard rock. When I say hard rock, it includes granite. And I see people on YouTube with, lots of subscribers, over 1 million subscribers, and telling people that that sandstone should not be used. He literally said, I quoted it somewhere, but sandstone won't work. Do not use sandstone. There's I did a lot of research, or not a lot, but a little bit of research to see if there's a large audience really that are interested in hammerstone use, and there's not. Most people are still leaning towards copper. New users are starting with copper. Old copper bopper users or copper users are try hammerstones, but they're still sticking with copper. And so I guess the good news is that even though those people are teaching to use granite hammerstones, there's not really a large audience trying to learn it. Though that means this video won't really get out to a whole lot of people unless they're really, really interested in learning hammerstones. And that means they're going to do research on their own and find my channel. So if you do find this right now, then go back and watch Hammerstone Basics. Go back and watch. If you want to learn how to use a hammerstone, try this. Those are some really good ones to get started. I'm going to demonstrate with, let's see, yesterday I went and picked up a granite hammerstone in the local area. It's palm-sized. It's heavy. It's very dense. Which means you don't have to, compared to this, it's like the same thing. You don't have to swing as hard to get a flake. If you're spalling, that's different. Same, but if this, you don't have to swing as hard to get a flake. With this softer sandstone hammerstone, let's see, I should say that this is sandstone and this is sandstone. This is more of a coarser, grittier sandstone. It's very heavy, hard. I've talked about this one before. It's a real fine-grained hammerstone. It's not soft at all. And this is granite, and it's very smooth, and it's too slick to catch a surface. It's like the cortex of rock that you're trying to work, like Knife River. It's too slick a lot of times to catch the rock right. Anyway, what I was going to say is I'm going to demonstrate with these two hammerstones how to take several different kinds of flakes. Like, I'm going to scrunch with both of these. I'm going to take strict angle strikes. There's strict angle overstrikes to create an edge on an edge that's already clean. I'm going to overstrike with both of them. I'm going to take brushing strikes. I'm going to do slaps with them. Hopefully I'm not going to build up something just on purpose for that. They just kind of appear, and if you use effective mass of your hammerstone, sometimes it's just a small piece. I don't need the whole thing, so I just give it a little slap to use the small piece. and punching. I'm also going to talk about punching with both, or not talk, demonstrate with both. I want to clear up the debate. And I don't know if there is a debate, but because if there is, I want to clear up the debate, get rid of the myth. Like I said, I don't really think that's it. So what I do think it is that people use granite in early stages and they get flakes, so they attribute that to success. And when they get to smaller stages, they don't have success, so they switch to another tool that they're comfortable with. And since at the later stages people have trouble with hammerstones regardless of what they use, granite is the most popular choice. It's in a lot of flint knappers toolkits. People teach classes using this. People use it for spalling. So let's start with how you can tell the difference. So I'm going to talk about this later a little bit. No, I'm definitely going to. It's the core of the video, but I'm going to show that the right tool in your hand when you're flint knapping, you're using an aboriginal style, should be a sandstone hammerstone. And you can test you can also use limestone, dolomite. Those are softer than hard rocks, so they'll work. But I'm just talking about sandstone right now. And you're going to be out in the field and you're going to test. So you need something hard, not concrete, because concrete is going to give. You can use the hardest rock they make, like a diamond, and hit it on the concrete and it'll make dust, and you're going to think that you can use the diamond because it makes dust. So you need something harder than the rock you're flint knapping with. I'll demonstrate right here. This is sandstone, fine grained. Hold this right here and I'm going to hit it. See, my knee is giving a lot there. See it giving away? Creates dust. Every time you strike, it gives off a little bit of dust. It loses a little bit of energy. Okay, here's another one. That's big. When I use for spalling, I'd use it for creek walking. It used to be a little bit kind of pointier, not so round, and I used to hold it right there just like that and just bam, bam, punch flakes all day long, clearing off crap to take home small rocks instead of a whole lot of big rocks. Anyway, demonstrate with this. Same. See it give away? Did you see the dust fall to the floor? If you didn't, you can rewind. I don't see it giving away. There's, look at that dust every time. All right. Now let's use the granite that I picked up today. Clean it off good. A mark, just like this. Okay, all it is a mark. There's no dust coming off. See that? That's a mark. It slid. But whenever you see that it makes contact, just a small point, and doesn't bounce off, all it does is just make a little mark. That one didn't even hardly make a mark. So none of the rock on this gives way. No energy is lost in the rock when it gives way. All right. I'm going to demonstrate now. Let's see. I'm not going to demonstrate with this. Drink a tea. I'll start with scrunching. There's plenty of sharp edges all over this one that are thin. So scrunching will be easy to demonstrate. So I'm going to use the one I've been using in the most recent videos. It's my go-to hammerstone for from here all the way down to a finished piece. It's ready for fine edge work with antler. Okay, so I'm going to turn and try to get into the camera so you can see. I'm going to push this edge off right here. And I get small pressure flakes. When it gets thick, I want to turn it, but you don't get to see it. So, do it again. Do it right here. Let's see. Try to get my angle right so you can see. I need to use a corner that's facing the camera. Like this, maybe. I can't get good grip on it, though. Try this way. Yeah. That's a good way to do it. Alright. See those come off? It just, there was a little ridge right there and it blended it perfectly. It looks like you took some flakes there, like from hammerstone percussion or just antler flake or something. So, you know, just keep scrunching that. Nice, good control. When it's not too thick and bulby, I can still push flakes off. Okay, now for the granite, same thing. There's a sharp edges right next to it. It's going to push them off, but you just don't get control no matter what size the flake is, but this will work. The difference between this and this is this is going to be maybe more like copper. You're going to end up with a little bit thicker edge if everything else is equal, because it doesn't grab. It will push the flakes off, but it doesn't grab. It's slick. It just slid off this end. It's a good way to lose control. Hurt yourself. Ooh, I just barely push off. Thin flakes. Let me find another good spot. There's lots of them. I'm going to find a really good one. It's not questionable. There's a really good one there. So right here, where my fingernail is. My finger goes along that ridge a little bit. You can see it like that. It's very thin. I can see through it. Oh, it pushes them off. I'm not saying it doesn't have a use for scrunching. We're just demonstrating each one. Okay, strict angle strikes. So I like to have a good clean bevel. I don't want to spend a lot of time cleaning up nothing right here in this video, so that'll work good enough, I think. Alright, so we're going to overstrike, but instead of like a punch flake where we want long flakes or that we're taking off large mass where it's kind of hits and then falls through at a different angle, we're going to keep our angle strict. We're going to go all the way through it, and we want to try to keep a shallow bevel. I can tilt it deep and make a steep bevel, but I want to try to keep it shallow, and I'm going to demonstrate with the granite as well. I'll flip this edge and do the same thing. I'll treat it well with this one because I know I can treat the edge well so that the granite has a fair chance. Alright, so let's do it. I'm going to do it. I could probably just do it from the tip to there to there. So it's straight through. I'm overstriking and going straight. I'm holding my angle strict. So every time I say strict, I'm holding strict. I mean strict angle overstrikes. Alright. This one. This end is lighter. Oh, let's see. Oh, I don't need to grind. Overstrikes. So in order to get this, because this edge up here isn't just right, I want to create the bevel correct on the bottom. I tilt this a little bit wavy, but I didn't. I'll try to. It's not how I want it. That. Okay. Just grinding it so it doesn't cut me. And you should be able to see the difference. There's my bevel. If this was cleaner up here, I could end up with a cleaner plane right there. Okay, now time for the granite. Same thing. I don't have much from there to there. These are just going to be big flakes that you're not going to be able to control. Okay, I'm going to go around this ridge, but hold the angle straight. Trying to get a hold of it. I'm having to hit it really hard. Sometimes it catches. Okay, try to straighten it up. It's really harder to control. There's my edge. I would never want to come back and try to strike on that, but this one I can strike on. Alright, and I'm giving this my best shot. I want you to see it, I want you to notice it. Brushing strokes. We can do brushing strokes. I'll do brushing strokes on the clean edge here. And I'll do, with this one, the granite, and I'll do brushing strokes on the unclean edge over here with the sandstone. Alright. So brushing is just, we're just taking little flakes to try to clean up the edge. So I just barely go through. I have my pinky underneath because I'm trying to feel I look at the flake I want, I feel that flake and I'm supporting it, and I hit it with the intent I want to get that flake by brushing. You can brush, and a couple of those felt actually really good. Like that one almost felt good, but it just won't, it just crushes the edge. It came off there, but it's a really steep edge. So now I'm just kind of cleaning up back what I just did, and then we look at it, and I just don't like it. A couple of them came off nice, and they made a nice looking bevel coming back, not near as shallow as with the sandstone. And right here it didn't catch, and there's a divot or a hump there. Slaps. This is a good section to do slaps in. I'm going to set it up with this because it's short flakes that are taking off mass. I still need thickness with slap flakes. So I ain't gonna spend too much time on it. I'm just gonna hit the spots that look good. That's set up to hit. I don't know if there's something else. I don't really see. Yeah, I bet this one. Slaps. Y'all have seen slaps on my other videos. Gosh, I don't want to do that though. do some slaps here with sandstone. It has more mass to take off. Do little brushing strokes to clean those up. Do some scrunching. It thickens my edge, it rolls my edge, it raises my platform. Those are all good things you want when you're trying to get something besides just a tiny, tiny little flake. So I'm scrunching him, trying to scrunch the ridges off to make it smooth to hit. At the same time, scrunching in between the deltas where the thin spots are at, and that exposes the platforms and gets rid of the thin spots because you don't want to hit the thin spots. Okay, go back to here. Give that a good grind to hit with the granite. Alright, those look good. This, if I've told you that this doesn't take off very much material when you abrade and grind, you know, way less than 10% of carborundum, then this is going to take off way, way less than that. Way, way less than this. So abrading with it is just going to probably do nothing but make sparks. Effective anyway. Trying to find a good wide facet in this hammerstone to, so if I concentrate the force and use something that's more pointy, then there's a bigger chance a platform to fail. So on the granite, I'm for sure using a big wide facet right there. It sounds good. Slap flake. Oh, let's see. There we go. Slap flake. Right next to it. It's coming off. That one was pretty impressive. That is also on this side where the flake came off perfectly. Here's where it didn't come off perfectly. Actually, those two flakes that came off perfectly there, and then one here. But this one did not. It's thick, very steep. I had to hit it really hard. It came off. Blended into that pretty well, actually. Same. I'm just going to clean up now. See if I can get it to cooperate. A little bit. We're still thick on this point too, so remember that a lot of nappers out there that are using granite on a regular basis, or just using granite to chip whatever, are okay with it in early stages. You get to the finer stages, it doesn't work as well. I'm going to dress this up a little bit so it can kind of be more like a finished flake when I flip it. I wasn't going to demo that, I didn't think of it. So now, but I'm going to save that because I need to do slaps right here. Sandstone. Use my bigger, wider end. The thin, short one, or I mean, not real deep. A little bit of a slap right there. Another slap. Nice little flakes. A little bit bigger, not very big. Love the control. Just so crisp, comes off. I don't have to try hard, just does it. That one lip flaked because I hit on a ridge. Wasn't fair to this, but that's way smoother, and the ridges in between are less than they were with the granite. Now, okay, we're gonna make sure this is set up kind of like we were taking thin flakes, or finished flakes. So we're gonna barely turn our edge and pretend it's in the midline of the point, even though it's nowhere close, right? Well, I mean, it right here, it kind of dips off. So those would be low platforms, but from there to there, that's in the middle. Okay, let me set it up to hit with granite, finished flakes. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time setting up platforms. I'm just gonna roll the edge, getting rid of the thin spots in between the thick spots, exposing the thick spots, and I'm just going to hit it wherever platforms are emerged en masse that can, you know, be taken. So there's one ridge in there, right there, so maybe right there. I'll look closer later, but I'll avoid that because it wouldn't be fair to the granite. Probably break the point. Matter of fact, I know that's a common issue when you're thin. Sandstone is more forgiving because it gives. And when you hit a point like that with granite, it'll perverse fracture a lot of times from right there. Okay. So, finished flakes. I'm just going to thin into whatever mass is there to build convexity, and typically I'd want to find a narrower like this. It's probably a little too wide. I think if I use this narrow spot here, I'll crush them. I might have to do it, to demonstrate fairly. I probably should. So I won't use the choke point. I'll strike from there up. I already braided it with that. I'm going to continue to braid it with this, though. Real nice. Not bad here. It hinged. It looks relatively smooth in the body of the flake. There's that. Need to miss. Oops. Dang, I'm using a different part. Just be using this part. So couldn't get anything there. Try the next one. Ooh, yeah, caught it just right. Right, it's pretty smooth. That one did not. Last one. Pretty nice. Yeah, I might be able to squeeze one in there. That's all I got. It kind of messed it up. So, punching. I don't know, let's see. Do some punching with Hammerstone. There wasn't bad results. I was surprised I even got what I got. the problem is I like to be able to control every single flake, and I think if you're flint knapping, that should be the attitude that you have as well. Anyway, punch. It's ugly. So it wouldn't be my choice because I can feel that I do not have control of every flake like I should. When everything's set up right, and that's why I demonstrated that with the finish type flakes. Punch flakes are usually remove a lot of mass, so this isn't necessarily removing a lot of mass, but I'm still setting it up like a punch flake because some of the platforms end up like that. When you're making bevels, they punch flakes end up that way. There's one for sure I can use on the end. And because it's a corner, it can really come off easy. It doesn't take much to take a corner off and just get a real pretty flake. You know, travels. But yeah. You see, tilt it down a little bit. It feels very slick. So yeah, that grabs. This one is going to grab. You can hear it, right? Trying to scrunch up near the mic, or a brush, I mean. Hear that? Grit, grit, grit. Now, it sounds like glass hitting glass. That's right where I'm going to hit it. Ugh, sounds terrible. Gonna hit it anyway. Oof. Yeah, like I say, corners come off easy. There's another one right there. It's right there. I don't want to cut my fingers, so I'm going to hold out with 2 fingers there. I don't know if that was a punch flake or that was definitely a punch flake. It's real, it's not smooth, rigid ridges in that one. So let's see how this one right here too. If it's anyway, what I meant to say, I guess, about that is when it's slick, it's glass, it's really hard to control. So with a punch flake, I'm hitting it more direct, more inwards, so there's not much of a chance for it to glide off. My testing, by brushing, it just glided right off. But with a punch flake, it's more direct. To me, that's why it makes sense that it worked pretty well. I sweeped up dustpan of scrunch flakes and dust from my Sandstone Hammerstone, and I just wanted to try to show some of it. There's real fine sand right there, and there's a ton of little tiny scrunching flakes in there. They're just little pressure flakes with a hammerstone, and they come off so thin. They feather real nice at the end. They don't hinge fracture. I meant to keep some of those. I was going to keep the ones I scrunched with the granite and compare them to that and see if they hinged, which we did see it. when you look at the edge, it wasn't very smooth. It had to be ground pretty well. But you grind it out and it works until you get thin. Okay. So the reason, the facts, the little bit of science behind why all of the old guys tried both of these stones, but they had better luck with the sandstone than they did with the granite. That's why they use these. When you use this soft hammerstone, let me talk about the granite one first. When you use this granite hammerstone and you hit something hard, I showed this at the beginning, it didn't even make dust, right? It doesn't crush. That one crushes a little bit. That's why these get smaller and smaller. You know, these kind of stay the same size, they just get pitted. They don't lose a lot because you can't brush the pits out like you can with this. You just create pits and you either have to deal with the pits or move to a place there's not pits. Okay, so this one does not give. It's so ringy. Right there. Right there. All of the energy that you send into this stone with the granite is instantly sent into the stone. And the shock wave that is sent with this, it goes faster than the shock wave that's sent with this. And the reason why is because this doesn't give. This gives when you hit it, the sandstone. You hit the hard rock, it gives. And when it gives, some energy is lost. But it's lost at an incremental pace. If you imagine this in slow motion, when it hits, at first there's a little bit of dust, and then it goes just a nanometer, whatever, further, and makes a little bit more dust, crushing this. Losing energy, slowing down the blow. And then because it's slowing down the blow, it's allowing the fracture to not only continue at a conchoidal, fracture rate, whatever that is, when you break glass, it Hertzian cone, it creates a shock wave and it travels at speed of sound. And if you try to travel faster than that, then you create shock waves when you hit, and that's what you don't want. This doesn't do that because it gives. So that's it. Whenever you wish I had a real thin long blade that I don't have ready. I'm just going to grab one of these down on the ground. Or when you hit a rock. Nothing here with a, I can use this. This is a piece of Burlington. And this was, almost looks like it looked like a hit back. Anyway, doesn't matter. When you hit this with copper, when you hit this with granite, it makes a deeper bulb. You're hitting it very hard compared to the smaller stuff. A deeper bulb, and it will most likely break the spall, and it rises up at the end. Many of my videos that I just created that are up, there's many of those flakes. Hang on, I'm gonna go grab them. A bunch of them right now, right here. These are hot because they've been out in the sun. The these are all the flakes that I've taken off of recent blades that I wanted to keep for some reason or another. But this is an overshot. I remember this flake. I didn't even try to get it. I was trying to get a flat flake, which you can see it's flat. And I meant for it to stop about right here. I didn't think it would go any further. Thought it might even break here because it's so thin. See how thin that is? You can see through it. The Hammerstone. All of these were hit with a Hammerstone. So here's another overshot flake. If you're not saying that you're looking to try to get overshots, but if you want overshots, if you want long thin flakes that don't create hinges at the termination, they feather out instead, stuff like that, then sandstone is your choice. If you want to finish blades that look nice and aren't hinged out in the middle, because you can't get a long flake, so you're hitting on a continuous platform on something thin and hard, it's just hard to get what you want. Start with the sandstone early and stick with it all the way to the end. Thank you for watching my video.